We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified.
So it seems that President Trump may be the one who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified. The New York Times reports that officials have warned President Trump about using an unsecure cell phone because Russian and Chinese spies are listening in on these calls in an attempt to exploit the administration. President Trump denied this, reporting today by tweeting, "I rarely use a cell phone, and when I do, it's government authorized. I like hard lines, just more made-up fake news." Tweeted again about that. Ironically, Trump used an iPhone to send this very tweet. See that at the bottom? Twitter for iPhone? And thousands of others while he is the president of the United States. Omarosa, a former Trump staffer, doesn't even believe the president's claims, tweeting, "He always used his personal iPhone in the White House for calls, even after being told over and over again about the security risk. He disliked his secure government-issued cell. He said it was slow and buggy." Taking a page from the Trump playbook, a spokeswoman for the Chinese government called the reporting fake news and suggested President Trump exchange his iPhone for a cell phone made by a Chinese manufacturer. Joining us now is Malcolm Nance, an MSNBC counterterrorism and intelligence analyst. I mean, I've got a smile on my face while talking about this, Malcolm, but it's actually pretty serious because the Chinese and Russians and others are really good at intercepts, as you know. This is a specialty of yours. They can intercept using cell towers, using the phone itself, using the device. The National Security Council has given the president a phone that apparently is fixed for this sort of stuff, and the president doesn't like that.
Well, you're absolutely right. This device that everybody carries is an intelligence aggregator and communications device, not just for you and your family, but for foreign intelligence agencies, should they deem that you are targetable. The top target in the United States is the mindset, thought processes, and decisions of the President of the United States. No matter who he is, no matter who is sitting in that chair, the President of the United States will reveal information which is confidential just in his general discussions. Right. So if you can get an unsecured telephone like an iPhone, you know, every iPhone, each one of these, they're not shielded. They emanate and radiate information. They're almost location tracking devices. If you can get close enough or get within the networks to where you set up false cell phone towers, then you can collect that data. And believe me, the Russian embassy and Washington, D.C. and the Chinese embassy and their substations that are, you know, clandestinely placed throughout the city in the United States, they can get this unsecure information. The president should not be using that iPhone at all.
Now, this story broke more than 24 hours ago, and the White House has just responded a short time ago. It's taken them an unusually long time to respond to this. The president tweeted a couple of times, but I want you to go through this White House response. It's very carefully worded. The allegation in the New York Times is that there are 3 phones, that there are 2 government phones that are secure, and then there's the one that President Trump likes to use, which is his personal iPhone. Here's what the White House says. The article written by the New York Times presented inaccurate information about the president's cell phone and its usage. The president does not have 3 cellular phones. He has 1 official government iPhone. It's a crafty response to the response. He's got 1 official government iPhone. So the New York Times said he had 2. We're not sure what that's about. But it didn't say, he said he doesn't have 3. He has this 1 official phone. So it hasn't addressed the personal phone, which all sorts of people have reported the president uses.
It doesn't matter. What it hasn't really addressed is whether this phone is shielded, whether this phone is secure and the communications which come from it are encrypted from end to end, or whether it's just an iPhone the U.S. government purchased using the GSA purchasing process, because that's what I got out of it.
Right, I was going to say, as a government employee, as a military guy, if you get a phone from the government, it's generally speaking going to be a normal phone. In your case, you're an intelligence guy, so maybe yours is a little bit different. But generally speaking, the government purchases an iPhone, gets a discount on them.
You're absolutely right. And if the president is using a hard line, then those red phones, those secure phones, those hard lines are what he's going to use. But we know he uses an unsecure mobile phone. Journalists just today, all throughout the day, have been saying they have seen this phone sit on his desk. They have watched him tweet. Right. It is not secure.
So there's another story here.
Communications. Yeah.
Let me just tell you this. The Maggie Haberman from the New York Times has tweeted, multiple West Wing aides say Jordan Karam, who's taken over as lead of Oval Office ops, tells colleagues about screening the call logs on the non-cell phone for Kelly, the non-cell phone being the hardline call. Trump uses cell to try to avoid the Kelly screenings. Now, something wrong with this, Malcolm. I totally get it. The guy doesn't like control. It's very clear that his White House chief of staff is the weakest chief of staff that a president has had in a very long time, by design. The president doesn't want Kelly snooping on or telling him who to call. Great. That's for those two men to sort out. The problem is, by not doing it, the Russians and Chinese are possibly developing information that can be used to compromise the president or others in his circle.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. Listen, if you listen carefully, that scream you're hearing is all the watchstanders at the National Security Agency's National SIGINT Operations Center pulling their hair out over the fact that a non-secure cell phone, which is now a transmitter to our foreign intelligence adversaries, is broadcasting the president's most secret desires, the ones that he does not want his chief of staff
Correct.
to hear. Whether that's private conversations to his friends, an unknown mistress, whether he's revealing information of a clandestine or of a classified nature. The only subscribers to that right now are Donald Trump, his friends, and all the third-party collectors that have the technical capability of targeting him, because he is the world's top signals intelligence target.
Yeah, you are right. It's the stuff. They're listening in on the stuff that he doesn't want to tell John Kelly. That's the problem. All right, Malcolm, great to see you as always. Thank you, Malcolm Nance.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.